Most seniors believe every vegetable is safe with diabetes. But the truth? 9 everyday choices can quietly send blood sugar soaring, leaving you drained, foggy, or even dizzy hours later. What if the healthy side dish on your dinner table is doing silent damage right now? Stay with me, because one of these is in nearly every American kitchen tonight. Managing diabetes after 60 isn't about restriction, it's about wisdom. Some vegetables act like steady fuel, others hit like sugar and leave you exhausted, restless, and frustrated. I'm Dr. Samuel Hartley. For 25 years, I've helped thousands of seniors discover how food truly affects their aging bodies. Today, I'll show you the 9 vegetables to be mindful of, and exactly how to enjoy them safely. Always check with your doctor before making changes. 1. Potatoes, the misunderstood spud potatoes. They're warm, comforting, and they've been on American dinner tables for generations. But for someone living with diabetes, that fluffy scoop of mash isn't just comfort food. It can behave more like a spoonful of sugar. Here's the science made simple. Potatoes are packed with starch. Once inside your body, that starch quickly breaks down into glucose. And after 60, our cells don't respond to insulin, the hormone that moves sugar into the cells, as effectively as they once did. That means the sugar from potatoes lingers in your bloodstream, spiking blood sugar and leaving you drained or foggy. One long-term study from Harvard showed that people who ate potatoes regularly had a 33% higher risk of type 2 diabetes compared to those who ate them less often. But that doesn't mean you need to banish them forever. The key is portion and pairing. Instead of a mountain of mashed potatoes, aim for half of a small baked potato, and balance it with protein or fiber. Pairing a potato with roasted broccoli or salmon slows digestion, keeping energy steady instead of crashing. Think of it like this. A plain potato is lighter fluid on a fire. It burns hot and fast. But add fiber and protein, and suddenly you've got slow-burning logs that keep the flame steady. Frank, one of my 71-year-old patients, loved his mashed potatoes. But his glucose monitor showed sharp peaks every evening. When he cut the portion in half and added steamed greens, those peaks leveled out. He told me, "I didn't give up potatoes. I just learned how to respect them." And potatoes aren't the only everyday food with a hidden sugar effect. The next one? It's sitting on almost every summer dinner plate, and it's even trickier. 2. Corn, sweet but spiky. Now let's talk about corn. Golden, sweet, and usually served with a pat of butter melting down the side. It looks harmless, but for seniors with diabetes, it can be a sugar trap hiding in plain sight. Here's why. Corn has a medium to high glycemic index. That means once it's digested, the sugar enters your bloodstream faster than your aging cells can handle. And because insulin sensitivity naturally declines after 60, the effect can be stronger and last longer than you expect. One study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that corn raised blood sugar 46% higher compared to non-starchy vegetables. That's nearly half again as much of a spike from something most people still call a vegetable side. So what's the smarter way forward? Keep it simple. No more than half a cup of corn at a meal, and always combine it with lean protein, like grilled chicken or fish. The protein slows absorption, keeping your blood sugar steadier. Think of corn like a bag of little sugar marbles rolling into your bloodstream. On their own, they scatter fast and cause chaos. But when you anchor them with protein and fiber, they move slower, steadier, and your body can actually keep up. Rosa, one of my patients, loved corn on the cob every night in summer, but her glucose monitor kept flashing red after dinner. Once she swapped half her portion for roasted zucchini, still delicious, still filling, her blood sugars calmed down, and she told me she felt lighter walking up the stairs. Have you ever noticed feeling more tired after a meal you thought was healthy? You're not alone. Type YES in the comments if that's happened to you. And corn isn't the only one that sneaks up on you. The next vegetable looks tiny and innocent, but what it does inside your body may surprise you. 3. Peas, the quiet starch. And then there are peas, small, green, and tucked into casseroles or soups. Most people see them as harmless, but here's the catch. Peas can quietly behave more like a starch than a green vegetable. Even though their glycemic index looks moderate, around 51, the real issue is glycemic load, the total impact based on how much you eat. A full cup of peas can send your insulin working overtime, demanding your body handle more sugar than it's ready for. The American Diabetes Association Journal reported in 2019 that peas, because of portion size, can raise post-meal glucose more than many seniors realize. And when you're over 60, that extra demand on insulin often means more fatigue and less energy for the rest of the day. So how do we keep peas on the plate without paying the price? Think 1/4 cup portions, not a full bowl, and always pair them with fiber-rich greens. That way, you enjoy the sweetness of peas without the heavy sugar load. Picture it like this. Peas are little green sugar capsules. Eat too many, and it's like opening dozens of tiny packets all at once into your bloodstream. But spread them out with fiber, and the body has time to keep things steady. George, 74, used to load up his dinner plate with peas. He told me after meals, his legs felt heavier on his evening walk. When he cut the portion in half and added spinach to his plate, he noticed he could walk farther, and with less effort. So here's the question for you. Do you treat peas like a vegetable, or like the starch they truly are? And if peas surprised you, wait until you see what happens when we look at carrots. Because how you prepare them changes everything. 4. Carrots. Cooked versus raw carrots. Crunchy, colorful, and a staple in salads and soups. Most people think of them as one of the safest vegetables. But here's the twist. How you prepare them changes how your body reacts. Raw carrots have a glycemic index of about 16. That means they release sugar slowly, keeping blood sugar steady. But when you cook them, boiling, roasting, or glazing, the GI can jump all the way to 49. Suddenly, that sweet side dish is acting more like a starch, pushing sugar into the bloodstream much faster. A study in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition back in 2006 showed exactly this difference. The same vegetable, one raw, one cooked, produced two very different blood sugar responses. For seniors with diabetes, that gap can mean the difference between steady energy and an afternoon slump. So what's the solution? Keep carrots raw or lightly steamed whenever you can. Add them as crunchy sticks with lunch, or toss thin slices into a salad. Even a quick 2 to 3 minute steam preserves the fiber that slows sugar release. Think of a carrot like a sponge. When it's raw, it holds on to fiber and releases sugar drop by drop. But when it's cooked too long, that sponge is squeezed out, and the sugar pours in all at once. Helen, 70, loved her glazed carrots at dinner. Sweet, tender, and comforting. But she noticed her blood sugar monitor kept spiking 2 hours after meals. When she switched to raw carrot sticks in the afternoon, she told me, "I felt steadier, and I didn't need that nap I always used to take." So here's my question. When was the last time you paid attention to how your vegetables were prepared? Not just which ones you ate. And carrots are only the beginning. Because the next vegetable isn't about cooking style. It's about natural sugar hidden deep inside. 5. Beets. Nature's candy. Beets. Deep red, earthy, and often called a superfood. Many seniors add beet juice thinking it will help circulation and heart health. But here's the truth. For diabetes, beets can act more like candy than medicine. Why? Because beets contain natural sugars in a very concentrated form. When juiced, those sugars hit your bloodstream quickly, creating a spike in blood sugar that your aging pancreas may struggle to control. In fact, a 2020 study in the Journal of Nutrition found that beetroot juice raised glucose levels by 28% in people with type 2 diabetes. That's a sharp rise, especially when you expected the opposite. The good news? Whole beets in small amounts can still fit. Stick to half of a small beet, sliced into a salad or roasted with other non-starchy vegetables. But avoid beet juice. It's essentially the sugar without the fiber, and it overwhelms your system. Think of beets like dropping a sugar cube directly into your bloodstream. Whole beets, with their fiber, are like sugar wrapped in a paper towel. It dissolves slowly. But juice strips away that protection, leaving only the rush. Dorothy, 66, was drinking beet juice every morning because she'd heard it was great for blood pressure. But her glucose monitor told a different story. Big spikes before noon. When she swapped the juice for cucumber water and added a few beet slices to her salad instead, her readings smoothed out. She said, "I still enjoy the taste, but it no longer controls me." So here's my question. Are you choosing the version of vegetables that heals, or the one that quietly harms? And this isn't the only seasonal favorite with a hidden sugar punch. The next vegetable wears a friendly orange skin, but once roasted or pureed, it delivers a surprising spike. 6. Pumpkin and squash, seasonal spike. Pumpkin and squash. They feel like comfort food, warm, sweet, and tied to family gatherings. Pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving, roasted squash in the fall. But here's the surprise. For seniors with diabetes, these orange favorites can cause blood sugar to swing higher than you might expect. Why? Because when pumpkin and squash are roasted, pureed, or baked into desserts, their natural starches break down into simple sugars. That means your body absorbs them quickly, and your glucose numbers can climb almost as fast as if you'd eaten a sweet roll. A 2015 study published in Diabetes Care showed that pumpkin consumption significantly increased post-meal blood sugar in people managing type 2 diabetes. That doesn't make pumpkin bad. It just means preparation and portion are everything. So here's the safer way. Keep it to about half a cup of roasted pumpkin or squash and combine it with cinnamon and protein. Cinnamon has compounds that can help improve insulin sensitivity, and protein slows digestion, softening the spike. Picture it like this. Pumpkin is autumn's sugar hiding inside an orange shell. Treat it carefully, and it's a warm comfort. But left unchecked, it's like opening a candy drawer without realizing it. Frank's wife used to bake pumpkin pie every week. He loved it, but his glucose monitor told a harsher story. Sharp peaks, followed by long crashes. When they swapped the pie for roasted cauliflower seasoned with cinnamon, his sugars evened out, and he admitted he didn't miss the pie as much as he thought. So here's something to reflect on. Are your comfort foods truly comforting your health, or quietly pulling you backward? And pumpkin isn't the only look-alike with hidden sugar power. The next vegetable looks like a carrot's cousin, but inside, it behaves much closer to a potato. 7. Parsnips, the forgotten starch. Parsnips. They look like pale carrots, long, white, and often tossed into soups or roasted trays. Most people barely think twice about them. But here's the hidden truth. Parsnips don't act like carrots at all. They act much closer to potatoes. Their glycemic index sits around 52, which puts them in the same category as starchy foods that raise blood sugar quickly. That means a plate of roasted parsnips can push glucose up faster than many seniors realize. The British Journal of Nutrition reported back in 2012 that parsnips deliver a sugar impact much closer to potatoes than to other root vegetables. For someone managing diabetes, that difference matters. So what's the practical step? Enjoy parsnips sparingly, small mixed portions with protein. Toss a few slices into a roast with chicken or fish, but don't let them take over the plate. Balance is the key. Think of parsnips as wolves in sheep's clothing. They wear the disguise of a carrot, but inside, they carry the starch punch of a potato. Arthur, 73, loved roasted parsnips at Sunday dinners, but he always complained about the afternoon crash afterward. Heavy eyes, low energy. When he cut back and swapped half his portion for green beans, those crashes faded. He told me, "I didn't realize those little white carrots were tricking me." So let me ask, how many foods on your plate look safe, but are secretly draining your strength? And parsnips aren't the only ones with a double edge. The next vegetable is beloved for its fiber and comfort, but too much of it can flip from healing to harmful. 8. Yams and sweet potatoes, double-edged. Sweet potatoes and yams. They're often praised as the healthy carb, packed with fiber, vitamins, and minerals. And it's true, they can support blood sugar control when used the right way. But here's the catch. Eat too much, and that same food turns into a blood sugar spike waiting to happen. Why? Even though sweet potatoes digest slower than white potatoes, they still carry a heavy carbohydrate load. A 2014 study in clinical nutrition showed that portions above 150 grams, about a full cup, caused post-meal glucose to rise sharply, even though insulin sensitivity improved in smaller amounts. So what's the fix? Keep your serving to about half a cup, and season with cinnamon. Cinnamon contains compounds that can help your body use insulin more efficiently, smoothing out the sugar curve. Think of sweet potatoes like logs on a fire. A few steady logs keep the fire warm all night. But dump in too many, and the flames roar out of control, only to crash into ashes later. Maria, 69, loved her morning yam bowls, baked chunks with honey. She thought it was her healthiest habit, but her glucose readings told a different story. When she cut the portion in half and sprinkled on cinnamon instead of honey, her morning numbers dropped, and she said her energy lasted until lunch without that mid-morning crash. So here's something to consider. Are your healthy swaps still healthy in the portions you're using? Because the last vegetable on our list isn't just double-edged, it's heavy. In fact, its starch load has been compared to pouring concrete into your bloodstream. 9. Cassava and root veg mix. Cassava. It's a staple in many cultures, used in stews, porridges, even tapioca pudding. On the surface, it feels hearty, natural, and filling. But for someone with diabetes, cassava and certain root mixes can be one of the heaviest burdens you put on your blood sugar. Here's why. Cassava is extremely dense in starch. Once digested, it unloads a surge of glucose so powerful it can overwhelm insulin response almost immediately. The World Health Organization highlighted this in 2017, warning that cassava poses unique challenges for people with diabetes due to its very high glycemic load. So what's the safer choice? Keep cassava and similar starch-heavy roots as rare treats, and when you do, eat only small amounts alongside lean protein and fiber. Better yet, swap them for hearty lentils or leafy greens, which give you energy without the crash. Think of cassava like concrete in your bloodstream. Once it sets, it's heavy, it's rigid, and it slows everything down. Your body has to fight to clear it, leaving you drained. Evelyn, 75, grew up eating cassava stew every weekend, but she noticed that after meals, she felt sluggish and lightheaded. When she replaced cassava with lentil soup, still warm, still comforting, her blood sugar readings evened out, and she said, "I got my Sundays back without that sleepy haze." So here's a reflection for you. Are the foods that connect you to comfort and tradition also quietly weighing down your health? Because here's the truth. Not every starchy vegetable is the enemy. In fact, what most people don't realize is that with the right balance, even these can fit safely on your plate. So here's the takeaway. Managing diabetes after 60 isn't about fear, it's about wisdom. Each of these vegetables can be part of your life when you know how to prepare and portion them. It's not about restriction, it's about balance. Remember Frank with his potatoes, Rosa with her corn, Dorothy with her beet juice? They didn't give up the foods they loved. They simply learned how to respect them, and their blood sugar, their energy, and their freedom thanked them for it. And that's really the goal. Food should fuel your independence, not take it away. Every small choice at the table is like a gift, to your body, to your future, and to the people who love you. So let me whisper this. Which of these surprised you most? Share it in the comments. I read every one. If today's video gave you even one idea that brings peace to your plate, hit the like button so I know it helped. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to Healthy Aging Hub. Every week, I bring you new, science-backed insights designed to keep you strong, clear-minded, and independent for years to come. Because the food you choose today is the strength you carry into tomorrow.